Yo, what is up, YouTube? Kyrios here, and today we're going to do a tier list for ShiroKuro Extreme coming out. We're going to separate this once again into two parts with kind of the tier list and the teams I'm going to bring in. So hit the chapters down below. If you do like this video as you're watching it, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. Come follow me on twitch.tv channel. Come join us on the Discord, yada, 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 all that goodness. And that's all I got. That's all I got. So let's kick off the video. This guide is purely my own. It might differ from other guides out there or other tier lists out there, but I think this is going to be very good for our current state. And I'm going to put a few future state students in there as well. So I'm going to try and keep that S tier as trimmed up as possible. I don't want to get more than about 8 students in there. You know, I know we can easily throw 15 to 20 in there, but it is what it is. So let's get started. We're going to start off with the 2 best healers that you can bring as of right now into ShiroKuro, which is going to be Serena and Koharu. So I don't think either of these students really need that much introduction on why they're in S tier. Serena allows you to move students around. She does really great throughput on healing. Koharu does amazing throughput on healing. The rub on Koharu is that it is a striker healer, which we do love, but it does take away from one of your striker DPS. But she's going to allow you to actually kind of just out tank a lot of the mechanics of ShiroKuro. And if you can bring 3 top tier DPS with her, it's going to be very good. Next up on the list, we do have Izuna. Now, I did advertise that most people don't roll for Izuna, you know, especially free to play, right? But if you do have Izuna, you should definitely use her. She's really great for ShiroKuro. Not that great outside of ShiroKuro, but she's designed perfectly for that. A 3 cost, very easy to use. Great just damage across the board. Next up on the list, I don't think any needs any introduction as well, is Haruna. And Haruna is amazing, especially if you can get her EX skill to 5, which if you've been playing since the launch global, I would assume most people have been able to either A, get Haruna from farming her, and 2, have been working on upgrading Haruna to get her to EX5 and maybe one of those sub skills up to level 10. She does a ton of damage. She doesn't really ever get replaced until maybe way later, but even then you don't really have to replace her. Next up on the list, we do have Summer Azusa. And now Summer Azusa is really good. She does a ton of damage on her EX skill. She has that dot damage on top of it, and then she does do a defense breaker. Now for ShiroKuro, you don't really need a defense breaker like Akane, like we needed for Bina and stuff like that, because ShiroKuro has low defense. But the little defense breaker that she brings, that's just automatic, is perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. That'll be good. It'll increase damage, and then she does a ton of damage on top of that. Next up on the list, we do have Kotama. I'm a big fan of Kotama. You're going to use her for forever until you start getting some of these 1-year anniversary students and stuff like that. And even then, you still might use her, but increases damage to your party, especially since in this match, your party is going to be all together, right? They're going to be in just a circle mostly. You're going to be able to get good throughput on that damage increase. Next up, we have Hibiki. Now, I am putting Hibiki in S rank, even though you're not going to use Hibiki's EX skill. You're really bringing her for her crit damage increase. And now we do have a healer that does the same thing, and she'll be later on in the tier list. But I wish I could make 2 different tier lists. That's the main reason you bring her. You're really not going to be using her for anything else there. Next up on the list is a character that was on our Bina tier list that we don't have yet, is Akko. Akko is amazing. She will just take one of your elite DPS and just make them from S tier to like Super Saiyan S tier, right? Absolutely amazing. As soon as you get her, she's going to be plug and played everywhere. Depending on who you have, right? You may not use her for ShiroKuro, but you can. Next up on the list that we have is not out yet, is for the 1-year anniversary. If you've seen that video on the 1-year anniversary, you know Wakamo is coming. She is amazing. She synergizes very well with other elite DPS, so Haruna, Izuna, Summer Azusa. and she allows it. She does a ton of damage. She's going to be great for ShiroKuro, and I honestly think she is the meta unit for ShiroKuro once she comes out and we do get her. So that's all I'm going to have on the S tier per se, right? Now we're going to move on to the A tier. Our A tier, we're going to first start off with Asuna. So hear me out on this, right? I do say Asuna is A tier, and that's really depending on if you had to build Asuna in the beginning to get through ShiroKuro. If you're just starting out now and you have a lot of these other students and stuff like that, you're really not going to use it. Remember, this tier list is designed that you take students from the lower levels and you move them up if you don't have them. Asuna, I would level, but I would not invest heavily into unless you really need to. Next up on the list, we do have Iori. Iori is amazing, especially when we have indoor ShiroKuro. I know she's not Mystic, but she does a ton of damage. Now, your mileage may vary on extreme mode, but most of us for extreme mode are going to do 2 teams or 3 teams. So you're going to probably plug and play her somewhere in there. Next up is a student we don't have, but is coming very shortly, is biking or riding ShiroKuro. And now the problem with ShiroKuro is that I'm not a big fan of her EX skill for ShiroKuro, but everything around her, she is a mystic. She does good damage. She is someone you can plug and play in there. Another person that we're getting very shortly is Summer Tsurugi, and she is a perfect instance of plugging another person there. She has a low CP cost for her EX skill, and she just does consistent damage. So if you need to plug someone in there, you don't have an Azuna, you didn't pull Summer, because we're going to get Summer Tsurugi for free. You didn't pull Summer Azusa, and we're not at Okamo yet, right? And maybe the only DPS you really have is Haruna. You're definitely going to want to plug her in there. She's going to help out a lot. Now, if you didn't pull for Summer Azusa, another person you could plug in here is Maki. Now, for Maki, I really wouldn't use her EX skill too much unless you're building a team around her. You're really just bringing her for the consistent damage and the defense breaker. Sorry, guys, I have some allergies going on right now. I'm struggling a bit here. Next up on the list, we do have Mimori. She isn't there. So these next 2 students are students that are not here yet, and we're going to be a long ways away from. But I just want to get you recognized with them. The first one on that list is Mimori. And Mimori has an EX skill that allows you to move all your students to a designated location and increase their attack speed. She also does a little bit of healing, and she increases the defense of students, which you're going to kind of need for ShiroKuro. So I do believe she's going to be a very good student. The next one that we do have that I'm a little unsure with, so please take this one with a grain of salt, is Senna. And Senna, the reason I put Senna there is that she does have AoE healing. She's very good. Her EX skill for healing is really good, but that's only when she's at EX 5, it becomes a 4 cost. So before EX 5, I don't know if I would bring her, but just the fact that she can increase damage and heal people is very, very good. Very, very good. So I would highly think about doing that once we get closer to some of those students. So let's kick back some of our other students that we have here. Let's go on to the B list. First up on the B list, we do have Chisei. Chisei is amazing. Once again, you're not really bringing Chisei for that EX skill. You can use it, and depending on who you have and how much AP flow you have, you can use it. You're really just bringing her for the auto attack damage and to fill the role. She does a decent amount of damage just in herself if you do have her built. Next up, we do have Alice, and I kind of wanted to put Alice lower on the tier, mainly because Alice is really good auto attacker. But the problem is that you need to use her EX skill every 45 seconds, and that 6 cost AoE EX skill is really brutal on your team. So she could probably do really well in hardcore and very hard and a bunch of others. But for extreme mode, I would take it with a grain of salt, and really she would be in your second or third squad, right? Because we are getting to those B tiers and C tiers. Next up, we do have Hane. And Hane is really just the complement to Hibiki, unless you do need another healer. She is not the best healer for this, unfortunately. I would put her a little bit lower if it wasn't for that crit damage increase that you do need to do more damage. Next up, we do have Ayane. And Ayane, I think nothing that needs to be spoken here. She does AoE healing. Not as good as some of the others like Koharu and some of the other students, but she does a little bit better than Fuka in my opinion. And I think a lot of people do have her built. So if you do need AoE healing, this is where it's at. Now let's move on to the C tier. For C tier, we do have Bunny Azusa. Oh, sorry, Azusa. Asuna. Bunny Asuna. Too many names that are very close together. So the problem I have with Bunny Asuna is that her EX skill is a little beefy. It's I believe it's a 4 cost. And it decreases defense, which is okay, right? And it can help you out, but you really don't need that AoE hit, right? You really just need attack speed and raw damage, right? You need those Harunas, you need that Asuna. That's why Asuna is actually better than Bunny Asuna, mainly because you can move her around too, and it's a 2 cost. So she sits a little bit lower, but if you did pull her for the Bunny event coming up, she could be good here. Next up, we have Korean, and that's to bring attack in case you're not bringing Kotama and you need to plug and play some more special units there. You're not really going to use her EX skill, but you're really going to bring her for that attack increase. Next up, we do have Fuka, and Fuka is just another healer. I believe Ayane is a better healer. Now, the one thing I will say is Fuka allows you to move your students around, and if you're really good about timing that, then Fuka is actually a higher tier than Ayane. But most times you're going to take some hits, and most of your students are going to be together anyway. So that's how I feel about it personally. Next up on the list, we do have New Year Mitsuki. Now, the thing I do love about, and I have some pointers off on the screen over here. The thing I love about Summer Mitsuki is that she is a mystic. Now, you're really not bringing her for EX skill, but what I do love about her EX skill, it is a 2 cost if you're trying to cycle really quickly and you have a lot of students you're using. Does a decent amount of damage on the arc. It's okay. Not really the best for Summer or for ShiroKuro, but she does have some additional damage where she can store some shots and do some more damage there. So I think that's pretty good. Next up, we do have, which I do not have on this list right away, is Summer Mashiro. Now, I believe Summer Mashiro should actually be a D rank. You guys are probably gonna kill me on that. I think she might be an E rank, in all honesty. I don't really like putting students in the E rank anyway, so we're gonna put her in D. The problem is that she's really good for PvP. She increases accuracy. She does increase crit damage of your highest attacker, so that could be a reason to do it. But you're not going to really use her EX skill for raids. You would use it more in PvP. And she doesn't really bring that much more to the table, unfortunately. So I'm just going to put her there just in case you need to plug and play her. Next up, we do have Shizuko. Shizuko she's okay, right? I don't think most people are going to invest in her. So that's the problem that I have, is that, like, I guess if she was fully tricked out, she could be a little bit higher. But she brings that additional accuracy, which you don't really need. And she does allow you to reflect those shots back to the boss. But that's not really a common strategy with ShiroKuro. So I really wouldn't rely on that. And if you're really bringing someone to create cover, you're much better bringing Shimoko. Shimoko? Is that right? Shimiko. I don't know why I got that wrong. You're much better bringing Shimiko to be that cover and increase defense and everything like that. Once again, I really wouldn't bring these students unless it's your third squad and you're just trying to plug and play. Next up, we do have Bunny Kareen, and the reason why Bunny Kareen is really low, even though she is a mystic, her EX skill is an AoE arching, but it costs a lot more than some of our others up in the C rank, and I really wouldn't rely on that for ShiroKuro. She's great for the chicken raid, but not so much for this raid. And then finally, I'm just going to give you guys a bonus real quick. The final bonus I'm going to say is Miku Hatsune. And I don't even know where to put her, in all honesty, but you could plug and play her kind of in here. So I'm just going to randomly drop her. No, she's definitely not an S tier. I'm going to randomly drop her on B tier. You could bring her in. She does a little bit of healing. She does do an attack increase. Her EX skill is not the greatest. And I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. I don't think I've seen anyone ever bring it to ShiroKuro. I'm just going to say that you could do it. You could do it. Who knows? Maybe we should put her in E rank just so she's on the board. I don't know. So anyways. Okay, guys, quickly, I just wanted to go over the team comps I'm probably going to bring into ShiroKuro. Now, obviously, this will change, and I'm sure I'll show you guys my extreme fight, assuming I could do extreme. I'm hoping I can. But if we look at our formation here, I kind of already preset them up. Now, here's the initial team I'm going to be going in with. Now, I actually might be going in with my weaker team first because the first part of ShiroKuro is easier than the second part. So I'll play around with that on Monday. But on this is the initial team. This is my primary team. The reason I don't have a 4th spot there is that I am pulling for Summer Azusa, and no matter what, I'm going to get Summer Azusa. We're gonna make it happen. But you want this team to be cracked, right? You need to make sure that your Haruna is pretty maxed out, right? You need to make sure you're throwing as much into that EX5 skill or sub skill, which is really good, increases attack while standing still, and then making sure her exotic explosives are good too. And then also making sure your Azuna is also pretty cracked out too. And if you did the event for Azuna and you have her, you should have had most of these resources. There's not a lot in that school anyways. So there's a lot you can do here with trying to max her out and max out her damage. And then for my secondary team, this team, I don't know. I'm going to have to plug and play this a little bit. You're going to need a lot more healing on that secondary team. So that's why I might flip the teams up. Since Koharu is the stronger AoE healer for the second part, I might put my better team second instead of first. But I'm going to pretty much use Chisei that I have here that's pretty decently geared up. I'm going to put Alice in there. I might pull her out, but, you know, we already talked about the annoyances of having Alice. Iori is a great staple. Hane for that crit damage, a little extra healing. Serena a little bit more for all that healing. And then Maki for that defense breaker, and maybe for damage. Maybe I won't use Chisei or Alice that much for CP dumping. Maybe I'll just use Iori and Maki, right? So you need to plug and play and figure it out there. Now, I don't have Asuna built, so there's not a whole lot I can do there. And if we do get Summer Tsurugi at the same time that we get Summer Azusa, which I think we are, I'll probably plug her in here. So what I would do is I would probably remove Alice from this squad right here, and then I would plug in Summer Tsurugi here, assuming I can level her up enough for her to be useful. I don't know, maybe I can, but that's the teams I'm pretty much going to roll in there. I think I can 2-team it. If we have to bring in a third team, it's really just going to be bringing in as many penetration and tanky units as I can, just to knock off whatever else we can do. So hopefully that was helpful. Guys, I hope that guide helped you out. I hope this tier list helped you out. I know the names aren't up there. If you have any questions, hit me up in the comments down below. I do have some more videos for Blue Archive coming. I'm back in it. We got some videos coming. The summer events coming, depending on when you're watching this. I'm very excited for that. And thank you guys so much for being here and supporting that channel. Once again, hit that subscribe and like button if you did like this video. Let me know what videos that you're interested in. Let me know the questions you have, and come join us on Discord and everything like that. I will see you on the next video. Peace out, everyone.
Oh,